Hey, it's Kenji. I'm here outside of New York Pizza Suprema by Madison Square Garden, right across Madison Square Garden, close to Penn Station. This is another one of those New York slice places that I've been to sort of more times than I can count. The Serious Eats office used to be... Oh, they still got it. You hear that crunch? The Serious Eats office used to be on 27th and 7th, and so we would come here quite frequently or order pizza from here quite frequently. Most often it was a regular slice, a regular cheese pie, plain pie, and a upside down Sicilian, which is Sicilian style dough, a little bit thicker in a square pan with a layer of cheese under the sauce, and then a bunch of Romano on top. This place was introduced to me by Ted Levine, who was the founder of Serious Eats. I'm sure he introduced a lot of people to many of the great pizzerias in the city. Him and Adam Kuban, who back in the day saw fit to hire me to write about pizza occasionally, and so we ate a lot of pizza in that office. Anyway, today what I thought I'd do was check out a new place close to Penn Station also, because when people ask me where do you get good pizza near Penn Station, I always say Pizzeria Suprema. One of the best places in the city, and definitely the best one in the neighborhood. But I kept hearing about this new place called Upside Pizza. I think that's what it's called. And so I thought I'd walk between the two places and check them out and sort of compare them. I'll start by sort of describing the ones at Upside after I take a bite of my Suprema. The slices at Upside are definitely not your typical New York slice. They use this kind of cheese that it's like what I call it Mutant Ninja Turtle cheese, the kind that kind of pulls and pulls and pulls and just keeps coming. And then when it kind of cools down a little bit, it kind of congeals and turns a little rubbery. I'm not a big fan of that type of cheese, so I would personally, honestly, skip the plain slice at Upside. But the thing that they call a Sicilian there, which is nothing like any Sicilian I've ever had in New York. In fact, it's nothing like any pizza I've ever really had anywhere. It's really interesting. The dough is baked in a square pan. It has that cheesy crust like a Detroit pizza does. But the dough is, when you look at it, it's almost kind of laminated. It almost looks like kind of like croissant style dough, It doesn't eat like a croissant, it's a little bit chewier, but it does have this layered effect to it that I've never really had in anything. So this is a really unique one. I think definitely worth checking out, especially if you're in Penn Station and want a decent slice for a decent price. Pizzeria Suprema, on the other hand, is a little south of Penn Station, like a block or so. Like I said, it's one of the classic places, one of the places that we would recommend, whether you're close to Penn Station or not. They have really bright sauce. It does tend to be a little bit sweet. They say they don't add sugar to it, but I've always thought maybe they add a little bit of sugar in there. Either that or they just get really sweet canned tomatoes. Sauce is always a little bit sweet, but still very bright and fresh and balanced. On the Upside Down Sicilian, it's got a little bit more flavor to it. It's got a little bit more herbs and such. And I think the sweetness gets a little bit more balanced out by the crust. So pizzeria, both of these places actually, the square slice is what you should get. Pizzeria Suprema for like the classic upside down Sicilian in the city, I think. And this new place Upside for their really weird take on a Sicilian. Yeah, I enjoyed both of them. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, see you next time.